And months and months and months went on. He would give me answers after answers after answers after answers, until I'd run out of steam of ignorant questions to ask. He'd answered them, and I'd thought to myself, hold on a minute. And he said, okay, just repeat after me. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. That day I felt a heightened sense of satisfaction and safety and surety and clarity that I've never had before. I feel kind of relief, like I'm free of all of that, misguidance. I'm clear now, I know my direction, I know my purpose, I know my value, I know my worth, I know what I'm here for. And that was the most profound moment, and that changed my life. That moment there changed my life. It was almost a way out as well, because guys were like, okay, look, we know you're doing your religious thing. Mm-hmm. You got a free pass. You can go to whatever area you want now. He's on his religious thing.
Oh, okay.
He's not involved in what we're involved in and the boundaries that we're set by. He's on his religious thing. Keep it moving. No one even knows each other. Just from that area and you're from this area. That's it. We don't relate. We're not friends. But when becoming Muslim and adopting it wholeheartedly, it frees you from all of that. I've got some worth. I've got some value. And when you fulfill your responsibilities, your wife reciprocates with making you feel comfort, making you feel, happy to come home. She prepares a meal for you, or she shows her gratitude, and that kind of makes me feel like this is what I've been looking for all along. Loyalty, trust, companionship, pride, self-respect. Even my father says to me, I'm proud of you. And that's heavy. When your dad says that to you, you're like, finally, I've done something to make you proud. I've graduated. Yeah, we're good. Okay, we know. Khalas. Even if you go like Hajj, you go Umrah, you're like, it just multiplies. It's like, this is real. And so one day I said, you know what, Mum, I don't want to be this footballer. I want to be comfortable like Uncle Jaffa. I want to be just comfortable. And I could hear her heart break. It was like, my son's become a waste man. This is something I want to kind of emphasize on as well, which is that it kind of gets played down as some type of Disney, but if you make sincere dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will get that thing. I wanted to get married. And I thought, this is the one, this is the here. She ticks every box. This is the one. Oh, Rabbi, please give me this one. And you're making your dua istikhara, and you pray till your hair's, dark on your forehead. And then it doesn't materialize, and you're like, oh. And you feel like, but you've made your istikhara. Allah will replace with something better. And then when you actually get married, and myself, and I married the wife I'm with.
MashaAllah.
And alhamdulillah, I didn't have that one.
Yeah.
This is what I really. Allah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi. It's John Fontaine. Just before we begin the podcast, please make sure you click subscribe and also set your notifications. And make sure you check out the earlier podcasts. We've up to around 40 podcasts so far. There's lots of podcasts there for you to benefit from. Make sure you check that out. Also, if you can go to the John Fontaine YouTube channel as well, click subscribe, set your notifications, and also enjoy the other videos. There's a Fiqh of Love series, a series on Christianity, and other videos regarding dawah. Also, if you'd like to support the podcast by supporting us financially, with the equipment and the travel costs and the running costs, not just of the podcast but also the other dawah activities I'm involved in, please support on the Patreon account. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to the Young Smirks podcast. I'm here with a very beautiful, amazing brother, mashallah, a very good friend of mine, Hassan, Jamaican. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity. Allah knows best. Who's more beautiful here? I think you're winning it. I think you're topping that.
Mashallah.
Peace and khair and bless you.
I don't want to praise you to your face, but mashallah, I love you for the sake of Allah.
Oh, barakallah feekum. May the one whose sake you love me, love you also. I've known you a while. We've travelled around, and I've really become fond of you.
Some brothers know that you have actually had an effect on my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A positive one.
A positive one, mashallah. Mashallah. Okay. I like your personality and your company, mashallah.
Barakallah feek. That's
jazakallah khair.
Quite a profound thing to say, John. You're kind of getting me, you're up in my feels, man. Jazakallah khair.
No, seriously, subhanAllah, I always, mashallah, a lot of brothers know that.
Shukran, I know that.
And yeah, mashallah, alhamdulillah. I just feel that, mashallah, you're a convert to Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you're not just kind of embrace the religion, you study the religion.
Mm-hmm.
But what I feel with you, I feel you're somebody who implements the religion.
Allah knows best.
If you know what I mean, there's something I see what I think a lot of people, including myself, lack personally.
Akhi, we all got our shortcomings, and may Allah hide our shortcomings, and and elevate our good deeds, and we try, but you know as yourself, when you step into this faith and you've been through all of the jahiliyyah, you know it, and you really looking and searching, and you find your way and you find the truth. It's like it's just overwhelming. You embrace it with your teeth. It's something that you want to live it. You want to you want to fulfill every steps, and you want to treat your guests as perfect as possible, and you want to do your salah as perfect. You want to. It's something that it just emanates from finding that peace and that truth. So alhamdulillah. I wish I could be better. I wish I'd done so much. There's so much time that we're within my transition. I feel like, I could have done more then. I could have tried more then. Even the first 5 years,
I
was still, still trying to find my way. And I'd kind of wish, like, even though at that time, I wish I kind of nailed things down.
So I want to ask you, because I've never seen your story to Islam.
Right.
So it's going to be new for me and new for anyone else.
Sure, that's
and
okay.
I wanted to hear it from you direct. Because if I know you, why am I going to watch it, so how did you find Islam, and where did you come from? Are you from London? A bit about your background, and how did you find Islam? Because one thing I do know is you found Islam at a very young age.
Yeah, I did alhamdulillah. I was guided at a young age. I'm born, raised, educated in London. It's, that's all I really know. I'm a city boy pretty much. And a period in my life was about 14. I was living with my mum, and my uncle, who he'd become Muslim. I think he had a stint in prison or whatnot. He became Muslim, and so he would come and stay with us at my mum's, and he would be trying to talk about Islam. Things had changed about him, and I said, you changed. You're not like the same uncle that you don't eat pork and bacon anymore. You don't have a girlfriend anymore. You don't what's got into you? And he would start telling me about Islam and how what it done for him and what he'd learned, and I was kind of like, okay, it sounds like a bit of waffle. You're going to try and, Bible bash me. I'm just trying to avoid him, like, oh, here we go. I wish I never asked. He comes again. And he used to have these heated debates with one of my mum's friends. His name was Ken at the time, actually. So my uncle and this guy Ken would have heated debates. One's a staunch Christian and one's, a new, revert. And I used to overhear them and hear all of these, this wordplay was like really aggressive, and at the end they'd kind of like walk off with their texts and stuff like that. And I used to think, okay, fair enough. To you, each be your own. And then after a period now, my uncle, he started to try to approach me and say, you know what, have you thought about considering Islam? I was like, what? It's what? It's hard. That thing, it's hard. That's not Islam. That's like, all these rules and stuff. I'm as far as I knew, I'm going paradise and I don't have to do anything. I live any way I like. Like, who wants all of this? And then he was like, no, but there's a lot of young guys getting married. I'm like, married? That's the last thing on my mind. I'm 14, like married. Why would you even go there? Who cares? I'm never getting married. Who cares? I'm having fun. And, and I plan to do that, forevermore. I've got what my parents gave me, which was Christianity, and yakfi, that's enough for me. But then he would still be very persistent, but he was calm about it. What I liked about it, which, I really kind of appreciate now, is that I was a knucklehead. If I was trying to give dawah to myself, I would have given up. I'd be like, you ignorant knucklehead, I ain't got time for you. But he was patient. He would know when to come back, and and when but he would be persistent. And so he started to come, and I say, okay, look. First and foremost, why are you wearing that dress? You want me to come to a faith where men wear dresses? I am not interested in wearing a dress. How can you even consider, And he was saying, no, this is the dress code of the prophets, of the Anbiya. It's how they used to dress, and this is what and et cetera, et cetera. Like, okay, that makes sense. But why are you always wet? You're always wet. Every time I see you, you're dripping with water, dripping on the floor, you're wet. What kind of wet faith is this? No, it's purity. We purify ourselves purify ourselves 5 times a day, and it's part of the ritual of salah and turning to Allah. Okay. But why do you pray to that box in the desert? A box in the desert, you guys pray to a box. Like, come on, do I really want to be on that? And he explained, this is the first ever mosque that was built by the Nabi Adam. And I'm like, okay. All right, and then I started getting really ignorant. Now, what about dinosaurs? What about this? What about that? What about that? And I throw every ignorant question I could throw at him, thinking that he's just going to leave me alone. He can't take any more of this. And months and months and months went on. He would give me answers after answers after answers after answers, until I'd run out of steam of ignorant questions to ask. He'd answered them, and I thought to myself, hold on a minute. You didn't even graduate from school. How do you know answer for everything? How do you know everything? You got a satisfying answer for everything I've thrown at you. And he said, well, it's not from me, it's from the Quran. So, oh yeah? Give me that, I'll show you that book. It's just like my book. It's full of contradiction like every other book that claims to be from God. I will show you. Give me that book. And that was, the bait. He was like, he was waiting for that moment.
Really like that.
So he gives me, a copy of the Quran. And so I'm going through it. I'm like, okay, look. I don't know who wrote this part, but this part's pretty good. This part, it reminds me of something I saw in the Bible. It's pretty good. I don't want to be a Muslim, but that part's pretty good. My girlfriend. Okay, that makes sense. I can relate to that. This part here, I don't want to be Muslim, but this part makes sense too. I'm down with that. Yeah, And okay, you know what? Take your book. It's all right. I don't want to read your book anymore. Thank you very much. That's you done. Let's just leave this conversation. And for me, that was at that stage. I just probably turned 16. So 2 years of head-to-head, hardcore, me thinking I'm giving him the hardest time and him giving me really beautiful answers. Until a seed, when I read that Quran, a seed was planted in my head. And in my head, I kind of knew, like, listen, you're just lying to yourself now. You know that's the truth. It was so clear to you. I wasn't the type to be into Easter bunnies and Santa Claus and fairies changing the tooth. I play along because I want the money or whatever, but I never used to believe it. Of course not. But this Quran, this wasn't Disney. This was like real. It really added up and gave clarity in a perfect way. And I just couldn't deny it. After a while, I was like, you know what? All right, look. And that time, we're street boys. We had this code, keep it real. That was the code. That was the motto that you lived. That was like our shahada. Keep it real. You live by that. And so me applying that to what I'd just learned about Islam, keeping it real meant that I got to go with this. This is the truth. There's no denying it.
Got to be honest with yourself.
I got to be honest with myself. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? This is it's something that is quite obvious to me now. And so one day he came by to give his usual dose of, dawah. I was like, you know what, today, I'm with you. I'm with you today. I want to do this. Let's do this. And so, we went for a walk. Left my mum's house, went for a walk down the road. It was in Neasden. And there's a it's near the A406. It's called Brentford Road, and I think it's the A406 motorway, near IKEA. And we sat at the bus stop. There's no one there except for one straight, random Muslim guy just sitting as a witness, funny enough, coincidentally. And he said, okay, just repeat after me. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. That day I felt a heightened sense of satisfaction and safety and surety and clarity that I'd never had before. And this brother here at the bus stop, he was all excited. He was over the moon. But for me, that was a new me. That was a new start. There weren't no rainbows. There weren't no pigeons making symbols in the sky. It was just a really simple shahada at a bus stop.
You felt like...
It was just a real kind of relief. Like, I'm free of all of that, misguidance. I'm clear now. I know my direction. I know my purpose. I know my value. I know my worth. I know what I'm here for. And that was the most profound moment, and that changed my life. That moment there changed my life.
SubhanAllah. You were 16 years old when
I was 16.
SubhanAllah.
And it's ajib, because I would kind of start to change my ways. And some of my friends, it wasn't cool like now. It's a little bit cool to be Muslim, have a bit, short. It's cool, it's trendy almost. People are doing it out of trend. But at that time it wasn't. And my friends would be like, oh yeah, Dre, he used to call me Dre. Come, say that thing that you said to me the other day. Tell these lot what you said. I'd be like, oh what? Oh, what shahada? Ashhadu la ilaha. He's speaking Somali. He speaks Somali. What's going on? How you started to speak Somali? What's going on? I'm like, no, actually, it's a shahada. And just to explain to them, they was just not getting it. It just wasn't clicking. But for me, it was one thing that I was certain about, that I might carry on with you guys. I might be, involved in whatever we all involved in as youth, but I'm Muslim. When all's said and done, I know I'm a Muslim. I might be falling short here and there, but that's one thing that, was embedded. And
SubhanAllah.
yeah. So at that young age, there was a lot of peer pressure, but it wasn't. It was kind of like, it was almost a way out as well, because their guys were like, okay, look, we know you're doing your religious thing. Mm-hmm. You got a free pass. You can go to whatever area you want now. He's on his religious thing. Okay.
He's
not involved in what we're involved in, and the boundaries that we're set by, and he's on his religious thing. Keep it moving.
Okay, that's interesting.
See, yeah.
Well, I've heard other people say that when you're Muslim, it kind of lets you kind of maneuver.
It does.
Because a lot of people don't understand what it's actually like in certain parts of London. I was trying to explain to a friend of mine that, if you're from a particular area, as a kid, you can't go into another area.
Oh yeah, certainly.
And there's certain areas where a kid's probably going to school on the other side, and and he's like this conflict zone, no man's land.
Yeah. There's
and it's like, so you're saying that, when kids know you're Muslim, they kind of just you get a pass, let's say. You get a pass where before there was no go zones. Like, don't get caught on that side because you're with them mans. That's the position. But when just because you live there,
just because you're from, you might not have even done anything to anyone there. But he and his older's got a gripe with one of your older boys from your area, and so you're a target. You get, if the younger one does something to you that you don't even know, then it's a knock for you see. You see, so,
and it's going on.
So politics, no one even knows each other. Just from that area, and you're from this area. That's it. We don't relate. We're not friends. But when becoming Muslim and adopting it wholeheartely, it frees you from all of that.
SubhanAllah.
But you have to do it wholeheartedly, though. You can't just be like this, half in, half out. You've got to be like, you know what? I'm done with all of this road. I'm done. I'm not involved. and they will recognize you for that. You know, they can see that on you. I remember one time when I moved up here and I was in an area called Broadwater Farm, very ghetto estate, and I was just staying there temporarily actually, and then because I wasn't a familiar face from the area, I remember one time I was going to my flat and one of these boys, "Hey, are you? Hey, Big Beard, come down here." I'm like, oh gosh, what is this now? What are we into now? What is this? "Big Beard, come here." I'm like, wow. So I come down, okay, let's face it out. Like, where am I gonna go? I'm on the state. Where are we gonna go? Let's do this. What is it gonna be? He's like, oh, tell him that he's a kafir. Isn't it that the guy's a kafir? What he said, he's a kafir, right? I'm like, wow. He actually brought me here to make takfir on someone else. I don't even know what the issue is. Okay, no, I don't know. But we should all go to the mosque and we can figure it out. But, you know, the difference in, you know, how they treat you.
Yeah.
You walk with my wife, the brothers would move out the way. You know, we're really, before, you walk through a group of black boys on a estate, and you're a target. If you're not, if you know, you just feel the tension. It belongs to the streets. There's no kind of But the respect they give you, just because, okay, look, you're not a threat, and what you're trying to do is something that we can all kind of relate to in a way. We're just too much involved in what we're doing to really take that step. But once you do take that step and you do make that transition wholeheartedly, and you say, you know, I'm going to live this. I'm not just going to be Muslim on my tongue. I'm going to do, you know, I'm going to grow my beard. I'm going to try to, you know, wear the attire. I'm going to wear my kufi, symbolize that I'm a Muslim.
They just leave you alone.
They're like, yeah, get out. He's like, you right, Akhi? Can I hold the door for you, Akhi? Hey, Akhi, can I lift up, help your wife with the pram, Akhi? And these are guys that, you know, they smell of weed and drugs, but they just recognize you as someone that, you know, you're on a different path, and they respect that, and that is kind of
guide all of them.
I mean, it's funny because when I go back to the area where I used to live, that area where I took the bus stop, Shahada, it's across the road from there is an estate called St. Raffles, and I know a lot of the guys there. And when I go back, a lot of them have become Muslim. Those same ones that were laughing and smiling. Now they're Muslim. Some of them have brought their sisters and their aunties and their mums, and they're married. Brought so many people to Islam behind them. You know, so Islam just changes people, communities, continents. It's really, you know, the most powerful way to change your life and get the reward in the hereafter. The only way to get the reward in the hereafter.
Subhanallah.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, I can only thank my uncle because he actually gave me that time.
Yeah.
You know, me, you, John, we're not going to give someone more than an hour. And if he's being ignorant on top of it, we're just like, you know what? I've given you an hour of my time. You're being ignorant, asking me about dresses and, you know, all these type, you know, you're being cheeky.
Just write him off.
Yeah, I've had enough. You know, I've done my part. You heard the message. You take it or leave it. But my uncle was persistent for 2 years, Akhi, of me being really borderline disrespectful.
So when you become a Muslim, like, that's a very young age. So what happened after that? You know, you've been to Mecca.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
I was with you in Kuwait as well.
Yes, you were together, that was amazing.
Mashallah, you studying there as well.
Alhamdulillah, it was fantastic.
And tell us a bit about what your journey, you know, visiting these Muslim lands, your experience there.
Yeah. Well, you know, once you become Muslim, your objectives change, your goals change, you know. I don't want to go on holiday no more. Sitting on the beach has no appeal to me whatsoever. You know, this, you know, Greek islands and all these little, you know, I couldn't even fathom the thought of doing that. It's like a waste of complete time. I only want to go to Muslim countries, meet Muslim people, experience Muslim culture, and a big thing for me was adab. I used to love to learn etiquettes. What's the best way to say please? What's the best way to ask? What's the best way to, you know, do things? I want to know because it's when you learn Muslim etiquette, it is so it's hard to
Mashallah,
describe. It's so much. Using Kuwait, some of these Kuwaitis, even they carry, it's from their lineage, even from the Arabs. They were very kind of, when they deal with you as a guest or a host, it had principles with it. It wasn't just like, it meant something. My name means something. When you come to me, I'm going to treat you, I'm going to give you your full rights. So you want to learn that, you want to experience that, and find out how is it, where can I learn this stuff?
It's amazing.
It is amazing. It really
mashallah. Again, I can't say too much to your face, but I understand, and seriously, when anyone who knows you knows that you take it very seriously.
Alhamdulillah, I try my best, man.
With the way you treat your brothers. This is what we need in a dawah. Actually being a Muslim, not just saying the Shahada, praying. We're talking about, our actions actually speak louder than the words. I'm not saying we don't invite with the words, we have to, but actually people see your Islam.
It should be on you, yeah. It's a saying, that
it's powerful.
If it's in your heart, you will see it on your limbs. You will see it in your actions. You will see it from your behavior. You will see it from your ilaka, your company. Will see it. You see, so you want to kind of emanate what you're about, and that part of the deen took me so much further than any speech could ever take me. Just even in regards to my relatives. Remember, my relatives, all of them non-Muslim. Grandfathers and grandfathers and grandfathers, generations upon generations of non-Muslim. So when I'm now, my uncle and then me, we've become Muslim now. It's like, and then they're hearing all of this stuff on the media, and there's a lot going on, and 9/11, there's a lot going on. They're looking to you like, hold on, are you with what?
Yeah.
What are you saying? What's this?
You think you're a terrorist, right?
Right. Automatic. You're a terrorist until you prove yourself, guilty until proven innocent, right? Yeah. So, being good etiquette and good adab and good manners and good, good treatment to people, that's what opens the doors. So then they give more dawah than you, because they say, well, my son's Muslim and he's not like that. Oh, my son, my brother's Muslim and he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
My brother said this, that, and that. And they go out and give dawah to people based on what they saw from you. My mum would say to me, I don't agree with this Islam stuff, but I like what it's done to you. I like how it's changed you. I like that I can tell you to take the garbage, you're going to do it. I like that you come at home at a decent time. I like that how you treat me now and you tell me that Allah's given me all of these rights. I like that. I like that I can go to your imam if you're giving me a hard time and pull you up. I like, that what it's done to you. I like the change that it's brought. You see? And that's just from the adab, the etiquettes, the mannerisms. It's not from me saying, قال الله وقال الرسول وفهم صحابة وكذا كذا. It's just from me demonstrating this is what Islam's taught me about how to interact with you, how to treat you, your place, who you are to me. And that's what really kind of brings down barriers and opens up ears and gives people will give you time.
This is a request from me.
Hey.
I would love to see some videos from you about these things. I really would. I would love to see. I'm not one to start pushing people on social media. It's not, things like that. I would love to see, because, your manners and things like that on teaching people, the etiquettes from Islam and how it's changed you as well. Yeah. And also, one thing I know about you as well is how you are with your family, your children and things like that. SubhanAllah, it's amazing. How has Islam impacted like family life and things like that, in terms of, how we are as a husband, a father, etc.
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, marriage was not something you'd ever think about as a child. 14, 15, 16, it's like, that's the last thing on your mind. You're thinking about how many girls you're going to meet next Saturday night, or how many girls you can call up on to go on a date with. But when you start to change your priorities and, you start to say, what, I want a life partner. I want someone that's going to treat me the way that I'm willing to treat them in regards to the rights, because Allah, He already gave it, all of it that I was looking for. It's already in Islam. It's already there waiting for you. Allah knows exactly what you want. He knows exactly what she wants. This is what you give for her. This is what she gives to you. And both of you are going to be really happy if you both commit to giving each other what Allah wrote for you, one another. And so that was like, okay, I'm going to try. And then, so I went about saying, you know what? I'm going to get married. I'm going to get married. And so, Alhamdulillah, I went about, I met a sister, and I went to her family, and I was thinking, oh, here we go. It's no, you know,
it's weird because it's not all this, you know, official thing.
It's not how you normally do it.
A girl,
right? And you go and chat her up, and you're with her for ages, and then you say, okay, let's take it here and take it there. But this was like
the family,
right? We're gonna meet the family, so it's like, you've got to be a man. You've got to go and represent. What can you do? What can you put on the table? What can you provide? Who are you? What you're about? Where are you from? And you're getting grilled. And they're like, so you forget your own name under that type of pressure. You know? But alhamdulillah, you know, you get time to meet one another, to talk, to understand, you know, your compatibility. And then, you know, you go through the process. And that was life-changing. That's life-changing because now you change from being someone that's just about yourself, nafsi, to now I'm responsible for someone. So this responsibility makes me feel like I've got some worth, I've got some value, you know. And when you fulfill your responsibilities, your wife reciprocates with making you feel comfort, making you feel, you know, happy to come home. She prepares a meal for you, or she shows her gratitude, and that kind of makes me feel like, this is what I've been looking for all along. Loyalty, trust, companionship. What more can you ask for? Do you see? And it really changes your perspective. And you can become kind of like this whole response. You know, it really does kind of become your thing. Being a husband, my thing. That's my thing. I read up on it. I can't tell you how many books I've read up on marriage and the rights and his rights and her rights and this situation with kids and that. You really want to understand it. You want to digest it, and then so you can actually play it out.
Allahu Akbar.
And it really does. When you do it right, it's the most beautiful thing you could ever do. It's the most beautiful partnership.
Allahu Akbar.
And they say behind, you know, every successful man is a good woman. La shak, no doubt about it. Hatta Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had Khadija behind him, the best of women. You see, a good woman behind you, supporting you, helping you to achieve your goals, helping you to be a better person of yourself, helping to be a better version of yourself. It's a fulfillment that nothing else can describe. No relationship other than that can meet up to it. No, you know, no other kind of girlfriend, boyfriend. There's nothing. It's all just like a joke when you look at, you know, what you were doing before. Like, but what was I doing? What was I thinking? Thank God no children came from that. Or thank God I didn't get into, you know, like, Allah replaced it all with something pure, with sanctity in it. You know, with pride. You know, self-respect. Even my father says to me, "I'm proud of you," and that's heavy. When your dad says that to you, you're like, finally, I've done something to make you proud. I've graduated. Yeah, we're good. Okay, we know. Khalas. You know, but when he says, I'm proud of you, you know, your husband, you're responsible for your family, you know, you've given me grandchildren, you know, it means a lot to them. But for me, it meant more to me because it meant that not only there's other ways to get close to Allah and earn reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it gave me more than just being about myself. More than just, okay, every day I wake up and I'm about myself. Now every day I wake up and I'm about this family. That's all, like, you know, what's best for this family? What can I do for this family? What do I have to do in regard, you know, to fulfill my responsibilities upon this family? And that's a different type of manhood that, you know, nothing else can kind of do for you, you know?
SubhanAllah.
You're married, you know this is just as well as me.
Here,
you know,
I'm here taking notes, learning.
You know just as well as me.
No, I'll be honest, SubhanAllah, you know, mashallah, you know, it's great lessons. I'm going to need some of them, you know, recommendations for them books. And, you know, SubhanAllah, you know, the way Islam changes people.
It's phenomenal.
You can't explain it.
It's phenomenal. It's true. You can only have to experience it, and like you're saying, traveling as well, and you're well traveled much more than myself. When you go, and and you meet, even if you go like Hajj, you go Umrah, you're like, it just multiplies. It's like, this is real. You see the graveyard of the Sahaba, you're like, this is real. You see the grave of the Prophet, you're like, this is not Disney. I knew it. Look, this is the footsteps. Look, this is the place. This is that. And you're walking the experiences that you've been reading about. You're walking it. You're breathing it in. You're like, I knew it. And it's so much contentment. You see, you can sell to someone, go to Umrah, it's really good, and they're like, yeah, I know. And you're like, no, it's really good. And they think you're just trying to gas them up, like, yeah. You're like, no. Go there and see for yourself. And when that person does, they'll come back telling you, oh, it's amazing, it's this. And you're like, yeah, I know, I tried to tell you that. You weren't having it. But when you experience it for yourself, okay, there's nothing more fulfilling and rewarding than trying to get close to the one who created all of this. Trying to get close to Allah who gave me all of this. He took me and you from generations of non-Muslims and said, you're going to be Muslim. That is like a gift that you can't put a value on. And now for us to kind of give back a little, okay, if you meet someone that's interested in Islam, disseminate, explain to them, give them a chance to hear it. Maybe you're going to connect with them the way someone connected with you. And alhamdulillah, from learning these things and having these experiences, I've been able to kind of speak to people and become, even I used to work in one of the masajid not far from here. And actually, first I had a shop beside the mosque, and every time someone would want to know about Islam, they'd come and get me, because it's in Tottenham, so there's more likely the reverts are Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean, black background. Go talk to Hassan, go to the shop. And so I'd give them time and talk to them and it's fulfilling, when you kind of like help someone have that eureka moment, like, and this makes sense, this is clarity. Yeah. And then they accept the shahad, and it's like you lived it all over again. Yeah. You see? Yeah. And so it's something that you can't really I can't verbalize. And it is something that is inspiring. It's something that, we're blessed to be Muslims. We are blessed to be Muslims, okay?
As you're from like a Jamaican background, how did your family perceive, how was it when you accepted Islam? Especially with my mum and dad, it was difficult, because Islam was a very foreign religion for them.
Of course.
It's like a Pakistani thing,
Yeah.
But like, from the Jamaican community, how did they...
Well, it's a good question,
different
actually.
communities see it differently.
Yeah, I think everyone has a different experience sometimes. Some people I've heard having to pray in the bathroom because they just can't have their family know they're Muslims. Some families are just like, well, whatever, you do you, because they're not maybe that religious. For me, like I said, for my mum, she'd already had the whole experience from my uncle, her brother.
Man. So he kind of
broke all the ice. I just came through like, oh no, another one. But
like he said, how was it for him? Because it sounds like he went in.
Yeah, he had to. Yeah, he went.
He's not messing around.
Nah, no nonsense. No nonsense. May Allah bless him. He's an amazing guy. This guy, he's an amazing man. So for that side of the family, they were my mum's side. It was kind of like, okay, another one, but he's changed for the better. So it was all right. They weren't too... I remember I was kind of living really recklessly anyway, so there was only little they could do to kind of stop me in certain things that I wanted to do. If I didn't want to do it, I'm not doing it. I was the stubborn donkey. You know
what you want anyway.
Exactly. So there was only so much that they could condone or not condone anyway. But after Islam, it was kind of like, okay, I give you the reins. This donkey, your reins are with you now, because this is what Islam's taught me, to obey and respect you in on whatever you say. And who can argue with that?
She must have been shocked.
She was, in a way, she was a little bit at first disappointed, because I used to wanted to be a footballer, and I used to play a lot of football, and I said, hey, Mum, I'm going to buy you a house. One day I'm going to buy you £1 million house. I'm going to give you a very comfortable place to live. And so she was, she was expecting this, looking forward to this. investing in this, you could say even. And then I used to see my uncle, and he was just so chilled out. He lived with his wife and kids. He didn't even have a TV. He'd go around there, but they were so happy and comfortable. And so one day I said, you know what, Mum, I don't want to be this footballer. I want to be comfortable like Uncle Jaffa. I want to be just comfortable. And I could hear her heart break. It was like, my son's become a waste man. He doesn't want to achieve anything. He's got no aspirations. He just wants to be like some type, some hermit type or something, some monk, she must have been thinking. So for her, in the initial stages, she couldn't get it, obviously. She wasn't really, she couldn't relate. And for her, I was like, what have you become? What is this about? I don't understand. Why are you adopting this faith that's nothing to do with us? What you got? We used to take you to church on Sundays and everything. Like, what are you doing? She almost made me feel like I'd betrayed her and the family. Do you see? And that was hard to swallow. But slowly trying to show her through my actions, which is all I could do. That, look, this is something that's made me better. It's for the better. It's something that really, I would even like to invite you to. It's something that, and I'd find these little videos and try and send to them, and little CDs. There times we didn't have WhatsApp and that, we had CDs and DVDs. I'd find her some DVDs about the purpose of life and that, and try to, kind of get her involved in it a little bit. And she got to a point where she was, okay, I accept that you're Muslim. I accept that, your wife. I'll make halal. My mum used to always make halal. It was just, I don't know, from the culture, I guess, but we also used to eat halal, except for the pork and the bacon and stuff, which is not halal. But she wouldn't give me that. She would make special meals for me. She would kind of be supportive of it, you see. And that was, for me, that was like a big kind of thank you, appreciation. That's from my father's side, because my mum and father, they weren't together. I didn't really get much kickback from them. No, it was a kind of, I used to just do my own thing anyway. 1 minute I'm running around on the street, next minute I'm Muslim, next minute I'm going to Mecca, next minute I'm going to Egypt. They were like, we can't keep up with you. What's going on? What are you doing in Egypt?
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, so
obviously, as a Muslim, it's not that big of a thing for us, right? Because Muslims are travellers, right?
Yeah.
But as a non-Muslim, to travel to Egypt or Kuwait, or
I think I'd never left the city before. London through and through. There's you take me outside of M25, I'm lost. It's like that, So to be going from there to Egypt,
SubhanAllah.
it's a big transition. But I just saw brothers that were like going for a short time, coming back. They'd learned some Arabic, and I was so envious, in a good way. Like, wow, you can speak, you can understand, you can read. I need this. I want this as well. And so, we strive to kind of make the transition and kind of, okay, if you went to Egypt, I can go to Egypt. And that's kind of, how it kind of, progressed into me traveling. But until this day, my mom, my grandma was here just the other day, very supportive. They love it. They love it. Because, like I said, when you bring in all of the hospitality and the good edeb, and my wife, she's at my grand's feet, helping her with her shoes, feeding her soup, she loves it. You can't not. You see? And my wife loves it as well, because she's like, I want to do these things for your mum. I want to do these things for your granddad. For me, there's so much barakah in that.
I think they know it's genuine as well.
Exactly.
It's not just like,
exactly. Yeah.
Real.
Exactly. And they can sense that. People can sense that. You see.
Allah guide them all.
Ameen. Inshallah, may Allah guide them to what's khair, and we hope for them good, and even for ourselves.
Ameen.
But it's been a long road. I will say that. But alhamdulillah, I've kind of traversed, and I've met good people like yourself. I've been to places where doors opened up for me to kind of learn, study, work. And I've kind of always been that type of person that if I put my mind to something, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am more than certainly going to achieve it, you see. And even one day I remember saying, you know what? I want to work in a bank. Actually, I want to work in that skyscraper. And so, took myself to uni. Got myself a degree.
Mashallah.
Went to the bank, Kuwaiti Bank of Kuwait, they're in Baker Street. I said, yeah, I'm looking for a job. I'm studying this and that, graduating this and that. I said, okay, yeah, come on. They gave me a job. I'm in the bank. Okay. 6 months there. I said, you know what? I'm going for the skyscraper. Go to Canary Wharf, make an application for one of these companies. I was successful. And I'm in the skyscraper. I'm looking down. I'm seeing cows. I'm like, okay.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible if you put your mind to it, and you make your dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is something I want to kind of emphasize on as well, which is that it kind of gets played down as some type of Disney, but if you make sincere dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will get that thing. And I say from the position of experience, where it's happened to me so many times. Sometimes I'm a bit shy to tell my friends because it's like, hey, you won't even believe me. You won't believe that what we have right now. What we have right now. I was asking for it at Fajr. At the Fajr prayer, I was asking for this. Look, it's not even Dhuhr, and we have it. But yeah, all right, whatever. No, I mean it. You see,
they think you're crazy.
Yeah, they think you're crazy. But you say, listen, seriously, there's nothing more powerful than making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether you're Muslim or not Muslim. Asking Allah for guidance, asking Allah for health, asking Allah for clarity, asking Allah for safety. You make sincere dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will get that thing in one way or another. You see, and this is what I've kind of experienced and felt in throughout my life, that I've wanted to do this, I make dua and I go for it, and alhamdulillah.
Like I say, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. When you're a Muslim, you got a direct link with the Creator.
Absolutely. So
do you know what I'm saying?
More than broadband.
There's no excuses,
they're right here in your jugular. Like before the thought you articulated it, he knew it. You see, so just asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And not only that,
the Savior.
The way the du'as, the way the du'as are accepted, right? Either it's delayed, right? Or he replaces it with something better.
Even better for you, exactly.
How many times have you made dua for something, right? It's not come. But Allah replaced it with something where you're thinking, I never even thought of this. Like this is what I was supposed to ask for.
Do you know what? There's been times when I wanted to get married, and I thought, this is the one. This is the here. She ticks every box. This is the one. Oh, Rabbi, please give me this one. And you're making your dua istikhara, and you pray till your head's, dark on your forehead. And then it doesn't materialize, and you're like, oh. And you feel like, but you've made your istikhara. Allah replace with something better. And then when you actually get married, and myself, and I married the wife I'm with,
MashaAllah.
You're like, alhamdulillah, I didn't have that one. This is what I really. Allah. You're like, subhanallah. This is what I really. Allah knew I wanted better than my own self.
Alhamdulillah.
Your dua is always answered. It's always answered in one way or another, like you mentioned. And if not, it's delayed to hereafter, which is even more valuable. You see, so dua, thumma dua.
He's made dua for me, Sheikh.
Let's all make dua for another. Allah give us success in our, in our activities and our goals. Yeah, but
it's amazing. They think we're mad, bro.
they don't get. I know, and you have to actually experience it. To actually understand it.
The thing is, it's like, wallahi, if you're not Muslim, you can't get it, man. You will never understand it, because the brotherhood and Iman is something that is cross-cultural. It goes for every tribe, every nation, every race, name it. Brothers can sit here from all different backgrounds, and you automatically just connect.
You've got a bond that you'd throw your life down for one another. Can you imagine that? And you don't know each other like that, but you know that you both are striving to please the same Creator. You're both striving for the same goal. you both have the same values. You both have the same principles. You know,
SubhanAllah, I was looking. I was just in Hyde Park today.
Yeah.
Undesirable. But you just see people like, SubhanAllah, there's every type of religion and deen you can imagine, you know. But when you see a Muslim and he walks through the park, he's just walking through. Maybe he's not even at Hyde Park, right? I was just stood there and I seen this man walk. I could just see on his face, because everyone looks crazy. You know, all these different religions and different. When you see this, I seen this Muslim man walk through, and I thought, SubhanAllah, look, just because he's Muslim, like, you can see he knows. He's got that thing. He knows what life is about. You know what I mean?
That's the clarity.
Like we're all on the same page. We have a deen. We have a solid thing which, you know, just goes above everything.
It's true. And
you can't imagine. People think, what are all, you know, like before you said all this strict, you know, it's hard, you know. But all these things make things easy.
It's true.
You know, they all have wisdom behind all of them.
All of it, and it all makes. And when you know, it's like when you really start to break it down, it's all for your own good. Okay, alcohol being haram is for your own good. Pork being haram is for your own good. You know, zina being haram for your own good. You know, all of these things that Allah forbade you from is either just a test or it's for your own good. And it's small. Gold for men, silk for men, pork, alcohol. You can do so many other things when all of the other metals are good for you, halal. All the other drinks are good for you, halal. All the other meats are good for you, halal. All the other clothing, all the other, you see? Just few things limited, just to test you. Just to test you. Are you going to stay away from that and have all of this? Or do you have to have that as well?
I mean, you know, it's like being in a Muslim country, I mean, Kuwait, etc. Kuwait, Saudi especially. Like, how safe you feel.
Yeah, there is a tranquility. Absolutely.
You know, as you know, living outside of England for a while, when I come back to England, I just feel nervous. Like me, nervous. Like, I know England, I know London, I know Manchester. But when I'm walking down the street, it's just, there's too much going on. It's like, you're thinking of like, you know, you're going to get robbed, or you're going to get, you know, this speeding ticket, this congestion charge, all the jizya, you know, the London jizya, You got the London jizya. Right?
Jizya.
The jizya, it doesn't matter who you are. You get, you know, you got the congestion charge, the emissions charge, the parking charge, the pulling up on the double yellow line charge. It's like you know, and then you know you can get robbed at any time.
I understand. It's
you know,
you feel a bit unsafe. I know what you mean.
And I'm 6'2", right? Youngish guy, right? Youngish, still young.
Yeah, you're very young. All right, I'll try it. You're sweet, boy.
34, but what I mean is like, but what I mean is like, even me, I'm like, you know, I'm just not used to this anymore. I don't like this life. I like safety. I like especially with my family, you know.
Of course. Listen, when I was in Medina, I saw for the first time, well, not for the first time, but in this context, I saw grown men walking hand in hand. Just walking, two uncles or something. Mm-hmm. And I stopped for a minute, I was like, okay, this can't be what it is in London. This is it's saying that.
Yeah.
This is a different environment. It's a different, and these two guys, their families have known each other for years and years. They're really good friends. That's how, imagine men holding hands. It sounds fairy tale-ish. It sounds like a fairy tale. This is how safe and relaxed and easy and casual and chilling, and you got relatives and friends that go back hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? Your families have known each other forever.
And we don't even need
but here, you could... brothers don't even want you to breathe in the same air. Like, you just, especially now with the corona anyway. But prior to that, you know, there wasn't that kind of like brotherhood, let's just say, among mankind, let's say. You see, where if it was that, it was always something that was like a haram relationship between two. You get me? This wasn't that. And so when you experience this type of lifestyle where It's really laid back.
And no one will
it's
even
really
think bad
peaceful.
of it.
No,
because
you don't even.
It's not in
just
that's
very
not in our
normal.
deen. We don't do that.
Exactly.
Two men.
Exactly. It's very normal just to be good
and
friends.
you're not allowed to have them thoughts. And if you do, you say "A'udhu billah."
Of course.
And you don't speak. You know what I mean? It's like you're protected from all areas.
Exactly.
You can't think bad about me. You can't. If you have a thought, you can't go start speaking behind my back. I'm protected from that by Allah. Allah.
Of course, you got your rights of your honor. Yeah. Yeah,
and you feel like,
rights,
alhamdulillah, I don't have to walk out of here thinking this guy's speaking this, that, and the other, because we're all following the same system.
Alhamdulillah.
And you know what that
clarity,
means, bro?
yeah.
Like the backbiting amongst not saying it doesn't happen amongst the Muslims. It happens amongst all people, right? But in other religions and things like that, other people who are not following this, it's so bad. Like, they speak bad about each other.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's too
I could
much.
overhear some of my aunt, I don't even say whose names, but relatives in my house where we go on the phone gossiping, and you'd be like, ooh, what? You were just with that person the other day, and now you're giving them, you're sending them for like a bag of chips.
I've got one for you, right? I heard someone on the phone, I'm not going to say who, non-Muslim, just like really gossiping, right? And to the extent that this was serious, I was about to step in, right? But I'm not allowed, I shouldn't have been listening. Subhanallah.
That's really true.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, what do I do? It's like, Allah told me I shouldn't be getting involved.
It's true. And you know what? To be honest,
subhanallah, look at that, right?
To be honest, not listening makes you feel better, because you don't even want to hear that stuff.
I couldn't help it,
you don't. I know. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but even myself, when I hear people gossiping, I want to just take myself up and go. If I can't just, let's leave it out. Then I just want to, because I don't even want that thoughts of that person in my head, or that opinion of that your opinion, corrupted opinion about that person in my head, that I have to be dealing with it, and I just don't need it. You see, it just added. So to free yourself from it.
It just makes everything easier, subhanAllah.
If we follow it, it's perfect. It's clear. It's just we don't follow it. That's our as a people.
Is there anything else you wanted to speak about? Anything you wanted to comment on? We've got time.
You're the host.
Because I like to see what people is on your mind. Anything on your mind? Anything you think people benefit from? Maybe they can get some benefit lesson wise or anything like that.
Okay, so I get asked a few things a lot. I get asked about polygamy, because I'm polygamous, alhamdulillah.
For those who don't know,
or polygynous,
you were also on one of the TV documentaries.
I was. I think 2014. I was on a documentary called Men with Many Wives, I believe it was. Yeah, and it's. I
actually watched it, and I was very impressed, mashallah, by your section. Not everything on that program.
I think there was a lot going on in that program, actually. But
I think you came across very well.
Jazakallah khair.
I was like, mashallah.
I love to get the feedback.
I was really genuinely like,
I'll tell you two things that came from that. Yeah. Two beautiful things that came from that. One was, I'd be outside the mosque and non-Muslims would come and say, I saw you on that program the other day. And I said, yeah, what did you think? It was really good. It gave me an insight. Thank you so much.
Subhanallah.
And I was like, wow, that's profound. But what really kind of, for me, made it all worth it. If it's just about, if this is all that came good from it, it was worth it. And I got a call one day from a lady in America. And she was an Orthodox Jew. So she said to me, okay, so I've seen your program, and I wanted to, I want to become Muslim. I was like, huh? What? And she said to me, listen, you don't know the effect that program has on an individual. Because for me, I'm an Orthodox Jew, and we have polygyny amongst ourselves. And how we do it, I knew from God it couldn't be right. This couldn't be the right way to practice polygyny. It just didn't feel right. It just didn't, how they do it is very, very kind of unorthodox way, let's just say. So she said, but when I saw how you were doing it, I knew that was the right faith. I knew this was the faith from God, and not this faith that I'd been brought up upon.
Allahu Akbar.
And she went through a long, difficult way to break away from an entrenched Orthodox Jew community to become Muslim, and take her daughter and live practice her life as a Muslim. It must have been tough. It must have been tough. But for me, the fact that you saw that, you saw the ta'addud, the polygyny, and something struck a chord in you that said, you know what, this is the right faith, and you left Judaism and you became a Muslim across the other side of the planet. For me, alhamdulillah, that was for me the most profound thing that ever came from that whole documentary.
SubhanAllah, it's amazing. I think the Western societies need to realize that the Western society is polygamous. It is.
Yeah.
It just is. Like everyone, not everyone, but the majority of people who live in the West, except Muslims, inshallah, and they're doing these things. They're or even if you're on your 10th or 20th boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it may be, it's like you are polygamous. They might not be at the same time or this, that, and the other. And there's a lot of haram relationships where people are like, cheating on their wives.
It's right.
But
of course.
Islam just stops all this.
It's true.
Alhamdulillah. Like, and
it validates, it gives you sanctity, it gives you rights. It's not just that, okay, it's haram, but when you enter into a marriage contract with someone, a person gets rights that even you can't abuse, you can't violate, and it gives the whole relationship gets sanctity, and the whole relationship becomes something pure and rewarding and sweet, and the fruits that come from it.
I heard someone tell me, "Oh, you only came to Islam because you can have 4 wives." I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Before Islam, people who, before Islam, when they're not Muslims, they're having different women every day. Islam stops that.
It limits.
It's like no." If you have to get married, you have responsibilities, you care for your family, you feed them, you do this. The women get so many rights, and it's like the responsibility of being a husband in Islam is so big.
It's heavy. And it's a straw argument, because if I wanted to have all the girlfriends I wanted, I could just not become Muslim then. I could have 10 girlfriends, one for every day and some spare. As a non-Muslim, no one's got no issue, no kalam, no qualms with that. If I take 50 girlfriends, no one's got no qualms as a non-Muslim. So becoming Muslim, it actually limits what I'm able to do if you want to look at it like black and white. And not only that, but it makes that these women that I marry, which is limited to 4, which I don't have 4, but the point being is that they have got financial rights over me. They've got, a right to support, a right to housing, a right to, education, a right to welfare. They've got so much rights that I have to fulfill. It's not just, rolling around in the hay. I've got to fulfill this person's obligation. I went to the dad. I took that woman from her dad's hand. It's not like I just met her in the back street and we went cinema and all of a sudden we got kids. I went to her father's house, or her guardian. I took her from her guardian. I gave her a gift, a dowry for her to keep, a safekeeping, and I made an oath that whatever Allah said is your rights, housing, food, support, protection, fulfillment, contentment, you're gonna get. That's your rights. Whether I'm happy, sad, moody, skies, green or blue.
And they never have to be jealous that you're out in a nightclub with a different woman. They don't know where you are. They think, you understand?
Exactly.
Most relationships break down, not even because of most of these relationships, these non-Muslim relationships break down, not because of necessarily cheating on whatever. It's the jealousy of people thinking you're cheating. SubhanAllah. And it sounds like, with the mind if they know you're practicing Islam, you fear Allah.
And like I said, a lot of these non-Muslims, they know. They know, but they're in denial. They don't admit, okay, my husband, he's with his secretary, or my wife, she's with her friend from the gym, her personal trainer. They know, but they're in denial because they don't really want to have to face the fact that we haven't really got any guidelines to our relationship. And if we do, they're not embedded in anything solid. They're not embedded in a faith, in deen. They're not from Allah. It's just something we made up ourselves, and we swap and change as we like and as we go, you know. And that's what's kind of like, if you know, there's no other better solution or better way of having a relationship except in an Islamic marriage. And time when you couldn't even be living with someone that's not your wife. As a non-Muslim, you can't have a partner and be living with that person just like ambiguously. That was like a no-no. You know, you marry, or what the heck's going on here? You see, even I say to my gran, you know, I said to my gran the other day, we was watching something on TV and we saw something about some of these new gender stuff and all this, you know, mixed transitional genderist stuff, and I was saying, gran, I don't recognize this world anymore. Like, what's going on? She said, how do you think I feel? Where I'm from, it's completely, it could be a different planet. That's how much, you know, things have just changed since her generation. You see, and that's profound. That's profound to think about.
Yeah.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Yeah.
And that's why it's all of the answers are in Islam.
Yeah.
If you want to, you know, be polygamous, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And it's probably better for you not to. And 90% of people are not.
Yeah.
See, but if you do, that option is open to you with consultation and with the rights that come with it. And when you start to realize the rights, maybe you feel like, I don't even,
and you know,
I don't even really want all of that burden. You know, there's a thin line, because I don't believe that polygamy is for everyone. It's not just for everyone.
Yeah.
And it could never be for everyone. There's not that many, you know, women to go around that everyone becomes polygamous. But there is a responsibility on the men who can to consider those women who are widows or barren or couldn't get married for whatever reason, or they're divorced, or they're with children and they're single.
And it's also their right to consider you.
And it's their, it's their right to consider you and say yes, no.
Because this is the thing, that people think that it's like in Islam, the woman also has a say in who she marries. It's not like...
Okay, listen, let me correct you.
It's crazy.
She drives. It's not whether she has she's controlling the whole thing. There's no polygamy except that she allowed it.
Yeah,
you see, there's no polygamous situation. Forget it, unless she is the one that advocates it, supports you in it, permits it to be a thing where she's sharing her time. Because if she says no, then that's it. What are you gonna do? You can't drag them kicking and screaming. It's not gonna happen. So when you really think about it, it's the woman's choice,
and it's a huge solution for big problems in the society.
It is. But I think people are just not ready for it. A lot of people are just not ready for it, especially in a societal sense. But it's something that is needed in some cases. It's needed, but not in every case.
I also wanted to ask you regarding parenting as well. You know, how Islam has kind of guided you on that, because you know you have children, and how you kind of you know, especially in this society, living in the West, in London, things like that. How do you kind of, you know, give us some tips and advice, some insight?
I think parenting is probably one of the single biggest challenges for a Muslim in the West. It's overlooked so easily. You know, we have, and it could be, you know, sometimes I feel like we read so much about the prophets and the Sahaba and that we think we're going to raise Sahaba. And we're not. Not in this environment, we're not. So you have to have a very keen sense of balance. And what I mean by this, and it's something I'm glad you asked actually. When I say a sense of balance, it means that, okay, Islam condones this and it disallows that. How do you nurture your child in this society, in this context, to be balanced, to stay away from the haram and to stay upon the path that's halal. Because look, first and foremost, we can't even do that. Every day we're making mistakes. Every day we fall short.
Yeah.
So your son and daughter is not going to be perfect. You have to accept that. You have to accept that they're going to make mistakes. How are you going to deal with those mistakes? They're going to hide the mistakes from you, not because they're scared of you or because you might reprimand them, but because they feel like they don't want to offend you. They don't want to hurt you. They love you so much. They don't want you to see your face. You know, your parent can give you a look. The parent can give you a look of disapproval, and for you, that was everything.
Subhanallah.
My mother is disappointed in me. So, with our children, they're trying to avoid that look, but they still want to indulge and try and what's this and taste and wow and lights and that doesn't know. My friends know, and they start to when they start to become themselves, it's all about what you've put in. If they've seen so much TV that they want to try this and that, or they're on the internet all day, or they're around bad company, or the schools that they go to, in the schools where it all changes. Children, up until primary school last year, year 6, you are their idol. You are like their hero. And you enjoy that. You enjoy that and you nurture them on that. When they get into high school, especially public school now, they learn that other kids have different idols who are more popular than you and who have more maybe wealth than you or have more influence than you. And so to be cool, I would start to adopt some of these other idols. And now that idol that your son or daughter is trying to adopt is a musician or a sportsman or something, who's maybe not Muslim, but the things they stand for, their values that they're about, you don't stand. I couldn't see my daughter being like that musician. I can't. This is something that is not going to work. And so now, how do you keep her close? Keep her on faith, and at the same time, try to gently reprimand her and protect her from all of these harms. It's a very, very dangerous game to get wrong. It's a balancing act. It's so difficult. Parenting, particularly in London, is a very, very difficult thing.
Yeah.
And there's so you can't. There's almost things you can't even say. I remember my daughter one day. She came home, and she said, "Oh, daddy, this I was laughing. This guy in religious class, he said that they pray to the monkey. The monkey, daddy, how can you pray to a monkey? And this one they pray to the cow. The cow, daddy, the cow just says moo. How can..." I said, yeah, listen, but Khadija, listen, we can't laugh at them. We can't laugh at them. Because one, they're going to try to laugh at Allah and laugh at our deen, but at the same time, this is what they believe. And of course it's shirk.
Yeah.
Me and my daughter, we do class every morning after Fajr, 10-20 minutes, Kitab al-Tawheed, something. We do something every morning, little something with the kids, with the wife. After Fajr, you got time, isn't it? And it sticks. So she'll go to school laughing at shirk, but the head teacher will phone me, "Oh, you're not teaching tolerance to your children. They're laughing at other people's faith." And I'm like, well, if you're going to pray to a cow, be prepared to be laughed at. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you've got to kind of have your daughter know, or your son know that, no, that's that one, we just keep it.
Yeah, so
we keep it in our hearts. We know what's true, we know what's false. You see? But there's some things which are that they might not tell you. Boyfriends, smoking, gangs, these WhatsApp groups they got where they're all sending each other stuff, the social media. There's so much harms that you can't be too militant. Yeah. But you definitely can't be too lax. Yeah. So there's a very, very fine line. It's not easy at all. Yeah. It's not easy at all. And for me, I want to do like you. I want to travel. We want to travel. Maybe we set up in Morocco, Dubai, Gambia, who knows, nice, calm, peaceful African country where we can actually promote our faith the way we want without being, scrutinized for it, you see. And this is
Allah guide our children.
Ameen, Ameen. I can't emphasize this enough for the parents out there. Spend time with your children. be mindful about how they're growing, how they're thinking, how to shelter them, keep them close, but keep a respect. What do? She comes home playing music. Maybe you strict against music. It's haram. Comes home playing music. Okay, listen. Not in this house. Not in this house. I can't watch you everywhere, but I can teach you that Allah is watching you everywhere. So stay away from those things that Allah doesn't like, because it will be to your own detriment. And you try to encourage, but you can't just give me that. What are you doing? Because you just find another way, another route, another path, another way. You can't. You see, my son, did you pray Dhuhr today at school? Yeah, yes, Daddy. Oh, did you? What, you stopped playing in football with all your friends. You broke off from them. You made wudu. You found a private space and you prayed Dhuhr. Yeah. Okay. We'll leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? But can you rely on him to make the right choice with all of these negative influences? You know, we can't even do it half the time, make the right choice with negative influences. So what about your children? So you just got to encourage them, try to be supportive. Just say, listen, I understand it might be difficult and you might be having a great time, but there's going to be a day when only the people who were prayed are going to have a great time. And so if you want to be part of that party and that fun, then you can't be missing your prayers. You see, because you're a Muslim.
At the end of the day, they're little human beings. They have their own souls. They're going to be judged by themselves. And they're going to grow into adults, inshallah. And it's just like, you know, what do we do?
Your best as
we
a
know
parent,
what we're like when we're kids. Just the way no one could tell you what to do when you accept Islam. You're doing it.
It's true.
It's the same. It comes a point when, you know, this advice of, I think it's the advice of Ali. I'll be pleased with him, where he mentioned about, you know, being their father or their parent up until the age of 7. You know, and then from 7
I know
to maturity, you know, to be their teacher. And then after that, it's their brother. You advise them. But
it's true.
And it's that type of psychology that we need. And
it's true.
And you get to the point where you're responsible for yourself now.
It's true.
You know, like you said, you know, give the advice, and
it's true.
You know, but it's about that preparation before.
It's preparing them, and also you give them the best start you can. Even in a community, like for example, where you are in Africa, there's some things which are just no-go, taboo. You just can't do.
Yeah.
You can't be kissing with your neighbour's daughter and all of that. Kids can't do that. Here,
you can do it, but it'll be the last thing you do.
It'll be one of the last things you actually ever do, to make it worth it. No, but
and that's a Christian country, by the way. I'm just saying.
But it's same. Yeah. You go to my wife's Eritrean, and if you go to Eritrea or even Ethiopia, strong Christian countries, they got values and principles that are very, very in line with
and
what
England
we believe.
Was like that before.
Before it was but like now that. You can't even say no. Now, if you saw that happening in the street, you saying no, you can get in trouble. But in a country where, you know, where they've got morals and values, whether it be Orthodox Christian Ethiopia or Muslim countries, these things, the community are all together in raising children. You see, I don't have to be, you know, your teacher at school will be like, did you stop with time to pray?
We see your teacher at the mosque later. You know, it's like...
So you kind of want to give them the best start you can. You want to give them, obviously, opportunity. But at the same time, you want to kind of help nurture them. And they are going to make mistakes. They are. It's just part of growing up. And there's cops and robbers, isn't it? Their job to try and get away, your job to try and catch them. But, you know, when you do, which you will most of the time, you know, don't give them a heavy sentence. Try to kind of be some, you know, that parent that you want to come to with your mistakes, you know. But and also what you do. Sorry, just as a final point, as a parent, because they're going to look up to you and say, "Well, you do this, you do that."
Yeah.
So be productive. You know, when I start doing my business, the kids, I involve them. They want to be part of it. They want to. Can I do that? Pack that order, Daddy. Can I do this, Daddy? Can I? Oh, I did this on the computer. Can I involve them in what you do so they feel a part of, you know, what's going on, and then you can better influence them.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
But if you're on one tangent doing one thing, you just come home and see them in the evening, a couple of minutes before bed. You don't really have much of a type relationship with them. You're not someone that they're looking to for influence.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And so you kind of want to engage with them. So engage with your children is crucial.
Just before I finish, I want to give you a little shout out because I know you're the Mr. Oud man. MashaAllah, you're like your Oud man. Every time I come near you, I always smelling good, MashaAllah. And even in Kuwait, we were like looking at the Oud shops.
Yeah.
You were like, there's not all this Oud.
And you had some of that Oud yourself.
And
I
know you're checking out all the things. And,
it's true. It's true.
So, you actually, also, mashallah, you have a business, you've mashallah, successful in your businessman.
Alhamdulillah, from Allah.
Mashallah, we ask Allah to bless you in that and everything.
Barakallah feek.
But, it's just nice to see Muslim, entrepreneurs like yourself who, mashallah, you've established yourself.
Jazakallah
khair.
I appreciate that. That. It's been a long way. It's been doing it for 11 years now.
Mashallah.
And I've been Muslim for about 18 years.
Mashallah. You don't look old enough for that, well.
Yeah,
I'm working it out now, aren't
Yeah.
16.
Trying to complete that,
Mashallah.
But alhamdulillah, but that was one of the things as well. When I became Muslim, working in the bank wasn't really so cool now. Because it's riba. And I'm not, even though, because the first 5 years of being Muslim, I was still kind of like, left, right, and center,
Yeah.
So by the time I kind of got wind of, this is not allowed, that's not permissible, this is not good. It's like, I'm in Canary Wharf and doing it, but this ain't really. I'm working in the stock market. Like this ain't where I'm supposed to be. So what am I gonna do? And I remember asking a friend, what did the Prophet used to do? Let's, because I was all about the Prophet. What did the Prophet do? What did they do? Let's try something that I can try to deduce from that. And he said, he used to love perfume. And my friends, they started laughing, you're going to sell perfume on the corner of the street. You left the bank and now you're in the brook. But alhamdulillah.
And you've been to uni as well.
Yeah.
All that, right? You've gone to the bank. Yeah. And it's like, it's not easy. Most people in that situation, they're like, it's pretty good. It was tough, to take that step.
To be honest, you can't swallow it. You're making good money. Yeah, lovely. You're making good money. But swallowing it's hard. So like, this is from riba. How can I be satisfied with that? How can I feed people, my family with that? How can I, I don't feel content in this money that I'm making. You see, so you don't really want to get up for work every day. And, given an environment where it's literally like, it's 7 till 7. You get in the door at 7, start at 8, and then you finish at 6 and you leave at 7. It's just long.
By the time you get home, there's no family time. It's
finished. No, it's done. You come home, you're tired, you're in your work clothes. You just about, you went straight to the mosque. You didn't even go home. You went straight to the mosque. Then you went home, got a pizza in, had a couple of bites, fell asleep, woke up in your clothes, got a shower, got changed, and you're back out the door again. It's like, this is not life. It's got to be more to it than this. The money's good, but this is not what I want. So I started to look into perfumes. I liked perfumes as it was. And I had access to some perfumes. And I started to kind of just build my inventory. Started to have a store at Wembley Market. It started to really gather pace. And alhamdulillah, we managed to open a shop. I got a website going. And it's just been fantastic, alhamdulillah.
I know you work for yourself and you walk around with them Muslim dresses all day. You wear what you want.
Now I get to just be wet. So I get to wear my dress all day.
With his Muslim dresses. Also giving dawah when you want.
Exactly. So the freedom of time is the most valuable thing because you pray when you want. You take as long as you want. As long as you get, and it's halal and tayyib. Even my wife was just saying to me earlier today, she's saying, that was one of the things that kind of drew me to you, that, your income was from a pure source.
Mashallah.
And, you weren't aspiring to be, Jack the Lad rapper or whatever, you were, you had a solid pure income. And Alhamdulillah, since then the
Mashallah,
business has been
mashallah,
really,
mashallah.
even in these difficult times, which, you know, because it's online.
Yeah.
So when all of the shops closed on the street because of the corona, the lockdown, everyone went online.
Yeah. Mashallah.
And so, alhamdulillah, you know,
Mashallah,
the risk is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you see.
We ask Allah to bless you in this.
And even more so you, Aki, because you're doing, you know, great work out there and helping, you know, people get the right messages across the world. So that's a value that
I ask everyone who's watching to make dua for our families. Because, you know, because that house you promised your mother, we ask Allah to give her that house in that place.
Inshallah.
We ask her to give her that. We ask Allah, Ya Rab, to, you know, give us and our families, you know, this guidance, and allow them to allow that iman to enter their heart like Allah guided us.
Yeah,
and we ask Allah to guide us.
Nothing more heavy than that. I mean.